organic versus conventional conversation has become one of the most confusing corners of the wellness world. And a lot of that confusion is not accidental. It serves the industry that profits when you're feeling like you're not doing enough. So today, we're going to look at what the research actually says, not the marketing, the actual numbers. And I think by the end of this episode, you're going to feel a lot lighter, both in your conscience and in your grocery bill. Welcome to Rooted in Rising. I'm your host, Lamisa. This is episode 2 of The Real Cost of Wellness, Organic versus Conventional. Let's get into it. First off, the organic food market is now worth over $200 billion globally. And the premium you pay for organic over conventional can range anywhere from 20% to well over 100% more depending on the product. That premium exists because organic farming has real costs, stricter standards, no synthetic pesticides, and different soil management practices. I'm not here to tell you organic farming is a scam. There are genuine environmental and agricultural reasons to support it. But here's the question I want us to sit with today. Does paying more for organic food always translate to better health outcomes for you personally? And the honest answer is, it depends. Completely. The wellness industry and organic marketing would prefer you not to ask that question, because a blanket organic is always better message is much easier to monetize than a nuance. Research-based answer, and nuance doesn't sell $9 apples. Let's talk about pesticide residue, because that's the core concern most of us have when we reach for organic. And here's what the research shows. Yes, conventionally grown produce does carry more pesticide residue than organic. On average, that is documented and not in dispute. The question, the one marketing conveniently skips, is whether the residue level found on wash, conventionally grown produce in the U.S. actually pose a measurable health risk to the average consumer. And the honest answer for the scientific literature is, for most produce, at typical consumption levels, the risk is low. The EPA set tolerance levels for pesticide residues on food. The USDA's own annual testing consistently finds that the vast majority of traditionally grown produce falls well within those limits. Now, I want to be careful here. I'm not saying pesticides are harmless or that the science is settled. There are legitimate ongoing questions about continuous exposure, about children's developing systems, and farm workers' safety, none of which I'm dismissing. What I am saying is that the blanket message that traditionally grown produce is dangerous is not what the weight of evidence currently supports. There are few areas where the research does support meaningful difference. Some studies have found higher levels of certain antioxidant and polyphenols in organically grown produce, though the significance of that difference is still being studied. For some people with specific chemical sensitivities, reducing pesticide exposure through organic choices may be genuinely beneficial. And there are environmental considerations that go beyond personal health, the soil health, biodiversities, water quality, and farm worker exposure, which is where organic farming practices do show real benefits. If those values matter to you, and there are valid reasons to choose organic, then that's a conscious choice, not a wellness tax. The key word is conscious. For a large category of produce, the nutritional differences between organic and conventional is statistically negligible. Avocado, onions, sweet corn, pineapple, frozen sweet peas, cabbage. These foods have thick skin or outer layers that either don't absorb pesticides well or remove before eating. Spending a premium on organic versions of these are almost entirely a marketing win, not a health win. Now let's get practical, because the most useful framework I can give you, the one that actually threads the needle between health, budget, and sanity, is the EWG's Dirty Dozen and Clean 15. And if you've heard of these lists but never fully understand the logic behind them, let me break it down. The Environmental Working Group analyzes USDA pesticide data every year and ranks produce by how much residue is actually detected on the food, which is typically eaten after washing and peeling. The Dirty Dozen are the 12 crops that consistently shows the highest residue levels. The Clean 15 are the 15 that consistently test lowest. This is not a perfect system. The EWG methodology has critics in its scientific community who argue they overstate risk. But as a practical prioritization tool for spending, it's useful. It gives you a way to make intentional organic choices where they matter most without paying a premium across the board. The current Dirty Dozen consistently includes strawberries, spinach, kale, collard greens, peaches, pears, nectarines, apples, grapes, bell peppers and hot peppers, cherries, blueberries, and green beans. These are the foods where, if budget allows, choosing organic gives you the most meaningful reduction in pesticide exposure. And I want to note something important. For women in perimenopause and menopause specifically, some of these, particularly the leafy greens and berries, are foods we're eating a lot of for hormonal support. So this is a place where intentional organic spending aligns with where you're already investing in your nutrition. The Clean 15 typically includes avocado, sweet corn, pineapples, onions, papayas, sweet peas, asparagus, honeydew melon, kiwi, cabbage, mushroom, mango, sweet potatoes, watermelon, and carrots. For these foods, the conventional version is genuinely a reasonable, evidence-based choice. Save your organic budget for the Dirty Dozen and let yourself off the hook here. There's a cost to organic conversation that doesn't get discussed enough, and it's not on the price tag. It's what happens to your relationship with food when you can't afford to buy everything organic. I've talked to so many women who tell me some version of the same story. They go to the grocery store. They know they should buy organic. Their budget doesn't stretch to cover all of it. And they come home feeling like they're already filled and taking care of themselves before they even eat the food. That guilt spirals. That's the wellness tax at work. It's not just costing you money. It's costing you your relationship with nourishment. And a complicated, guilty relationship with eating is never going to serve your health better than a relaxed, intentional one. I also want to name food waste because it's a real hidden cost of the organic premium. What food is more expensive, we're often less willing to use the slightly soft strawberries or the wilting spinach. We let things go that we would have used if we paid less. And the most expensive food is the food that you throw away. Eating more vegetables, organic or conventional, is almost always better for your health than eating fewer vegetables because organic felt too expensive. Remember that. The research on produce consumption and health outcomes is clear. Quantity and variety matters enormously. Don't let perfect be the enemy of nutrition. So let's pull this all together into something you can actually use at the grocery store this week. First, know your Dirty Dozen. You don't have to memorize the whole list. Start with the ones you eat most. If strawberries are your daily thing you do, prioritize organic strawberries. If you're eating spinach every day in a smoothie, make that organic investment. Align your organic spending with your actual eating habits. Second, wash everything. This sounds simple because it is. Studies show that washing produce under running water removes a meaningful percentage of surface pesticide residue. It doesn't eliminate it, but it reduces it. Make washing produce a non-negotiable habit, not an afterthought. Third, think about where you're eating. Cooking at home with conventional produce and washing it well is, for most people, a healthier, a more economical choice than spending so much on organic groceries, eating out more, or skipping produce altogether because the budget ran out. Fourth, let your values inform your spending. If environmental reasons matter to you, like soil health, water quality, and supporting organic farming practices, that's a completely valid reason to choose organic beyond the personal health calculus. Own that reason consciously so you're making a value-based choice rather than a fear-based one. And fifth, give yourself grace. The research does not support the narrative that eating conventional produce is quietly harming you. You are not failing your body by choosing conventional apples. You are feeding it. That counts. Here's what I want you to take away from today. Organic isn't a moral category. It's a tool. And like any tool, it works best when you know where to use it and where you don't need it. Organic isn't a moral category. It's a tool. And like any tool, it works best when you know where to use it and where you don't need it. You now have enough information to make intentional organic choices without fear, without guilt, and without breaking your grocery budget. Prioritize the dirty dozen. Relax on the clean 15. Wash everything. Eat more plants. And stop letting the organic label be something that the industry used to make you feel like you're not doing enough. Because here's the truth. A woman who eats a wide variety of conventionally grown, well-washed produce consistently is doing far more for her health than a woman who buys organic for 3 things and skips the vegetables she can't afford to buy clean. Next episode, we're going into the supplement drawer, and I promise you, that conversation is going to be even more eye-opening than this one. America spends billions every year on supplements, and women in midlife, like me, are among the biggest buyers. We're going to talk about what actually has research behind it, what's expensive noise, and how to audit your own supplement routine with clear eyes. If this episode helped untangle something for you, share it with a woman in your life who's been stressing about the grocery bill. Leave a review if you have a minute. It genuinely helps more women find this show. And come find me, Lamisa Wellness Collective, on Facebook. Love to hear what landed for you today. I'll see you next week. Stay rooted. Keep rising.